So I want to say something really quickly. I want to talk about, I was about to say something else, but I want to stick to what my message was going to be. And it's going to be a little different from the last 3 uploads about the world. Pretty much, we're not going past 2021. I'm going to stick to what I saw, because if I decide that I want to remove all type of deception and align with my highest truth, and then I wake up and I see some New Year's Eve balloons telling me that it's 2021, I'm gonna go with what the Spirit showed me. That we have that I'm gonna say I have not moved past 2021. I'm not gonna speak for everybody else. I'm not gonna speak for everybody else. I'm gonna say I have not moved past 2021, even though I believe it's 2023. Okay. It's a reason why it was some people said, oh, you know, they would get online. It would be 2022, about the month of like maybe April or May, whatever month it was. And they would say, you got 6 months, you got 7, no, you got 9 months. Around that time, they would say, you got 9 months, you got such and such and such a time to get yourself together. The reason being is because that reset is going to be complete again. This time, well, I'm just going to use me as an example. I'm not going to put anybody else in this. This time they're going to make people into machines. And the reason being is because every time there's a reset, and you're not really aware of what might have happened, something happened prior to that caused the reset. Told you I saw myself and then let me get to what I really want to talk about. I told you I saw myself looked like I was in the 1980s and I was still in the school, and then I happened to see in the vision 8:50 a.m. Like, it's 8:50 a.m. when I might have died as a child during that time. I keep seeing myself in the school. I'm looking at shadows, like people. It's like something happened during that time, and it was in the 80s. And then something happened in 2021 again. So I'm going to stick to whatever I feel like Spirit is showing me, because I'm learning to have more self-confidence. Not confidence in the physical ego person I think I see in the mirror. Not confidence in that kind of person. Not confidence in the ego, like literally confidence in spirit. Okay? But here's what I want to say that's kind of like not related to this, what I just said. I want to talk about, you know, you don't know who you're messing with. And I'm just saying, I just come up with this because it's been so many times that I've seen somebody decide to. Nobody's perfect. Let me just say, sometimes you might make mistakes and do something that you don't know that might really offend somebody. You might think you might have done something that's small and you don't even know that you did anything wrong. We all have done that. And we all have been in situations where we get out of character and we don't mean to do things. I don't mean that. I'm talking about people who are like very malicious, and who know they're hurting people, and who don't care they're hurting somebody. And they've hurt a number of people, and they don't care, and they're so malicious. Let me say this, though. I did an upload before talking about you can't tell somebody how to respond. So if somebody is a career criminal, somebody makes a career of being malicious to other people, just being very malicious to other people, the way that person might respond when they finally mess with the right person, the way that person might respond to them might not be in a manner of what they did. It might be, let me tell you something, it might just be overkill. But so what? You got to know who you're messing with. Or don't mess with nobody at all. How about just leave people alone? That way you just don't have these kind of problems. You don't know what the fuck people are going through. You cannot tell somebody how to react. If you purposely step on somebody's foot, if you do it by accident, okay. If you purposely step on somebody's foot because you feel like this is just an example. Is that because you feel like they're so weak that I'm gonna step on your foot and I'm gonna keep stepping on your foot and you ain't gonna do nothing about it. They might just see you in the street and get in their car and run your ass flat over like a pancake, and then if they see you alive, they'll run back over your ass again. Because you kept stepping on their foot. Now here, this is what I'm saying. I think this is a good example. People might say, well, she just stepped on, or whoever, just stepped on their foot. You didn't have to run it. Listen, you need to know who you fucking with. And I am cursing. And the reason why I'm cursing is because I realize everything is a lie, so it's no need in being classy. Everything is a lie. Everything is a lie. And so it's no need in being all classy when I don't believe I'm in 2023 anymore. But I thought I was in 2023 until Spirit showed me I was in 2021. So why the hell I'm gonna be classy for? Fuck it, I need to wake up. I don't care about classy. I was like that before, trying to watch what I say. I don't really care now. I just want to wake up. I want to be in the right timeline. That's where I want to be. So I don't really care about being cute and classy. Okay? But anyway, so people might say, well, all she did or he did was step on their foot. They didn't deserve to get run over. You don't know what the fuck they deserve. Number one, because you don't know what they've done to other people. Maybe that person that they messed with was the last straw, and them getting ran over might not be all of that person's doing, even though they were the ones behind the wheel. It was some forces on that motherfucker already. It was some forces from other times they've been messing with other people that was on that ass. They say, I'm tired of you. And they went to the right one, and the right one ran their ass over. Now, I'm going to say sometimes it's forces against people who don't really deserve it. And I'm saying it's forces against people who who don't bother anybody, who try to be kind and stuff. I'm going to tell you something. You know, a lot of people like to say, where you give, you get what you give. So if you give love, you get love back. That's not always true. Not when you're in a particular realm where it's ran by wickedness. When you're in a realm that is controlled by and ran over by wickedness, that is not always how that works. Some of the times, the most narcissistic people seem to get the most support and the most love. So that is not necessarily true. Sometimes the most kindest person is the one that catches the most hell, because you're in a realm that's ran by wickedness. And a lot of times when it's a lot of wicked people hate that shit. When you're in the realm that's ran by wickedness, you're going to get a lot of folks that's going to be against you. And you're going to think you're getting all kind of blessings because you feel like you're alive and you woke up this morning. Fuck that. Some people are living well. And all kinds of wicked. Well, I woke up this morning. Okay, yeah, but what else? Because you give so much of yourself. What else? You know. But then you got to know that you deserve it too. And because if you're giving that fucking much to people, you shouldn't even have to worry about money anymore. You should be taken care of for the rest of your fucking life. But that's not how that works now, is it? But sometimes the most narcissistic people, because they got the gift of gab, and sometimes, I'm going to tell you something, narcissistic people, they actually understand how this realm works, or that realm, whatever, I'm going to say that realm. They actually understand a little bit more how it works, and that's how they get what they want. Now, it might not last too long, because that particular world has come to an end. That particular world has come to an end, so the stuff that they do is not going to work like it used to work, because that world is coming to an end. But when that world was strong, when that world was a lot stronger, they got exactly what they wanted, and they understood how the world works, and it don't work by being sweet and kind. It don't work like that. Not in that world. In that world, the wicked get what they want. Okay? And this is not encouraging folks to do crazy stuff, but I'm just saying. So yeah, back to you just gotta know who you're messing with. And you just don't mess with nobody at all. Just don't mess with people at all. But yeah, you mess with somebody, or you cause somebody to lose their livelihood, and then, or whatever, however you do it. I see it so many times, like, and then you think that you did something so small, if that person, you cause them to lose their livelihood, and they decide to come in your house and shoot up your whole fucking family and kill you too while you in your fucking sleep. Well, they didn't deserve all that. Shut the fuck up. You don't know what people deserve. How many people have this person hurt? How many people's lives have they ruined by causing them to lose their jobs? By the time they mess with the right person that said they weren't gonna take that stuff. How many other lives have they ruined? You don't know what people deserve. You don't know what kind of spiritual debt people have collected. You don't know what kind of spiritual debt people have collected. Okay? And sometimes people have spiritual debt because of somebody carrying around somebody else's baggage. That's going to be another video because I've carried spiritual debt, but it has not been shit that I've done. It's been stuff that my people that raised me, like a mother who don't want to deal with her own shit, put her baggage on me as a child because I was a sponge for her to dump her shit on. And then I had a brother that did the same, and I had other relatives that did the same. I was a sponge for everybody to dump their shit on. So I carried a lot of spiritual debt, not because I did anything wrong to anybody, because everybody dumped their shit on me. And I got older and I decided to dump their shit back on them and let their asses fucking die. If they can't deal with their fucking shadow, they need to drop their hell dead. You know why? Because I have to deal with myself every fucking day. And then I had to spend time sending they bullshit back to them. And if they cannot deal with themselves, they need to drop the fuck dead, because it's not my responsibility to fucking do it. So I just say that to say that when people have spiritual debt, it's not always because they have done something wrong to somebody else. When people have a lot of karma, it's not always because they've done something wrong to somebody else. It could be because they're carrying somebody else's load. A lot of brown women in the community is carrying somebody else's load. When you are at the bottom, that is spiritual. I don't even like that, all that caste stuff, but I see that's what's going on. I try not to keep that in my consciousness, all that caste system, who's on the bottom and who's on top or whatever. Because it's separation, and I'm letting go of separation, right? But I'm just gonna say, in that particular world, brown women being on the bottom is more than financial or color, skin color. That's spiritual right there. I said that before, that's spiritual. When you're when you're on the bottom, that's spiritual. And what's happening is bad stuff keep happening to brown women. It's because if you're on the bottom, that's spiritual. To me, that's my opinion. I'm gonna say this is my opinion. This isn't a fact or whatever. But that's spiritual, being on the bottom. And what happens is if so many people are above you, you're carrying their baggage for them. If they're on top of you, that means you're carrying their load on top of your load. It's no wonder a lot of stuff keep happening until you decide that you're going to watch out for yourself, and you need some kind of reciprocity. It ain't about you do this and you do this and you do this and nobody else want to reciprocate. This is why I don't deal with family and I don't deal with friends. I don't want to deal with anybody who can't understand me or overstand me. You know why? Because it doesn't matter if you don't share my experiences, if the stuff I tell you I've been through since I was a child, just because it's not something that you actually resonate with doesn't mean it's not my experience. And I see that a lot with people. If they cannot resonate with it, they're gonna shut you down and say, oh well, whatever, because it's not something. Their mind is not expansive enough to actually see that other people can have experiences that might not resonate with them, that might seem a little crazy, a little wild, it might seem out there. They don't get that. So when some people you give, and a lot of people I come across, I tell them an experience that they feel like it's something that's out of this world, they're going to say it's not possible, that couldn't happen. And it's all in your mind, it's all in your imagination. Let me tell you something, everything is in your fucking mind. And the mind does not belong to you, I said that before. But everything is in the fucking mind. Sickness is in the mind. Everything is in the mind. So yeah, if some shit that you're going through, whatever, it's in the mind. Yes, in the imagination. Yeah, a lot of it's happening in the ego, the false self. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. But see, my problem with that is that you don't shut down an experience that you don't agree with, because if you tell me your ass got whatever illness it is, I don't want to name one because I don't want to seem like I'm personally attacking anybody with a particular illness. But like if you got an illness in your body that's a physical illness that you got to take medication for, guess what? That's still a part of the mind. Guess what? That's still part of the ego. It's hard to see it like that because it manifested itself physically. But anything that don't manifest itself physically is always just in your imagination. It's mental. All of it's mental illness. All of it. Okay? But anyway, yeah, I was really just talking about, know who you're messing with. Or don't mess with nobody at all. Okay? You never know what somebody might be going through. They might be on their last, they might have been just going through stuff for so many years, people tearing them down, And they trying to pick themselves back up, but they got responsibilities to the point where they can't work on themselves properly. And then you got people that just malicious, nasty, that make it, for some reason they get some kind of kick out of tearing somebody else down. And so they mess around and they do this to the right person. And what they do might not match how that person reacts. But you can't tell somebody how to react because you don't know who they are. You don't know their fucking story. And when I say you, I'm speaking in general. You don't know their fucking story before you mess with them. But you want to control how they react. See, that's a serious issue. You don't know what they could have been through. They could have heard that they got to get out their apartment, their house. They could have heard that they could have found out their mother just died, or they found out their sister or brother. Or they just could have been just always down in their luck. It's always something happening with them, and they can't get themselves right no matter how much they try. They seem like they keep getting pushed down. And it's hard for them to get support. And then you get this one person that want to pick with them. They got all the support in the world they want. They got all the love they want. I don't know why they person with so much support and love, they still feel like they got to pick on somebody else. It's like what they're getting is not enough from them. They still have this void in them. Like you get all this love and support and you're still a void. Because a person that's, because a person that want to be malicious constantly towards somebody else, they're missing a whole lot. They're probably worse than the motherfucker they picking on. Okay. But because why would you want to keep picking on somebody else unless you're just completely empty, like completely empty, But at the same time, it's not for that person that they're picking on. It's not for them to understand that this person is hurting, because everybody is not at that point where they give a fuck if somebody else is hurting. Because they got some stuff going on and they trying to work through, and it seems like it's not coming together no matter how much they try. And they're not at a point of understanding that this person that was malicious towards them, they might not be at a point that they want to understand or understand what that malicious person might be going through. They're not at a point of wanting to understand that because they're still dealing with stuff themselves. They're not trying to constantly understand somebody else. Okay? And the way they might respond might be in a way that it might not seem warranted, but at the same time, hey, you just got to know who you're messing with, or don't mess with people at all. Just leave people alone. That is so hard for some people, just to leave people alone. They like messing up folks' lives. Somebody come mess up your life and take your whole family, and you're like, what, did they deserve all that? You don't know what mental state they were in when you fuck with them. You don't know what mental state they were in when you mess with them. And they came and took you and everybody in your doggone house because they were already on the verge of just going crazy and losing it, and you were the doggone straw that broke the camel's back. And there's a lot of people walking around like that. Everybody can't check themselves in the hospital, mental facilities. They got too many responsibilities. But it's a lot of people that just can't, they not able to just take what else somebody else want to put on them. That's what I like about spiritual type of justice. I'm like 100% on the side of spiritual justice. Because sometimes it's not enough. Like, let me say, I feel like this word healing is misused. Here why. I believe in healing, but the ego can't heal itself. The ego cannot heal itself. Okay? But here's why I feel like this term healing is could be misused. If somebody has harmed you, if somebody has stolen from you, like say of something that's going on like that happened at the place I was at, where it's a huge suspicion that people are involved in a lot of insurance fraud, right? And then, and so people have had to pay out their pockets, try to find a way I think what they're doing is they change the doggone codes where they can say the insurance stopped or whatever, and if either these people pay out of pocket or whatever, or they have to go home or something. But what happens is it stops these people from getting their proper care. And that's just one example of what about like if you were a child, a boy or a girl, and you were molested by somebody in the family, okay? And you're constantly trying to work on healing, but the person who has assaulted you in a manner like that of molestation, you have to constantly see them. Because people in your family say, oh, don't worry about it, just, don't worry about it. You got to constantly see them at family functions. You got to constantly see them on holidays, knowing they touched you. And you try to tell other people in your family that this has happened to you, and they tell you that, first of all, they don't want to believe a word you say. They want to act like you're lying. And then you got to go somewhere and heal. Let me tell you what, it's hard to heal like that. This person that has assaulted you like that, they going around having a good life. Nobody checks them. Nobody say anything to them. They get to go at the family functions, and you have to sit there and look at them. After everything they have done to you, you have to sit there and look at them. Okay? And act like everything is okay. I hate to say it, but healing is not. Healing comes when. Sometimes healing can occur when you get justice. You got to get justice. In my case, I feel like a lot of justice is due. Okay, a lot of justice is due. And sometimes you may have ancestors or other spirits that you think is your thoughts, and it's them pushing this on you because they don't want you to let stuff go this time. Something could be happening. You might want to let it go, but it's stuff that's coming on you that you think it's your thoughts, but it could be something else saying, no, don't let this go. Stop letting stuff go. These people need to answer for what they've done. You can't, it's not right that you have to go somewhere and constantly heal and work on yourself and get some therapy or whatever, or just move on. Yeah, you're going to have to move on. You're going to have to still move on. You can't just stop. But at the same time, it's time for people to, it's time for people to know that they can't just get away with stuff. That they can't just do stuff and get away with it like they used to. But anyway, that'll be it, and I'll talk later.